Welcome to Spot On Basics. I'm Rebecca Monet with Zorakle Profiles. Zorakle provides profiling tools to franchisors and franchise brokers that helps facilitate a right fit between a prospective franchisee and a franchise concept. You are about to embark on the Spot On Basics training. I thought before you jumped into the individual sciences that I would do a Spot On Science overview for you. There are four primary tenets of franchising. First and foremost, of course, is franchising is a replicable model. The franchisor has invested time and energy and money in creating systems and processes that are replicable in various markets, viable markets. They have determined that this will play as well in Tulsa as it plays in Tallahassee. They've also done the research to determine where that franchise should be located. Does it need to be on a corner? Does it need to be in a strip center, for example? And then the fourth tenet of franchising is that franchisee franchisor fit. So a franchisor could have a great business model, a great system, and they may have the perfect marketplace for it and even the perfect location for that franchise. But if they have a franchisee that's a poor fit, we're all going to have some problems. In fact, there are many dilemmas when you have a poor fitting franchisee. A player versus a B player, there's dramatic difference in the cost to train and support them. In fact, our statistics show supporting and training a B player is 140% more than an A player in a franchise concept. Never mind, a poor fitting franchisee tends to validate poorly, which is tough for you. They tend to never be content or satisfied. They're having difficulty complying, which oftentimes causes litigation issues when the franchisor has to force compliance. Poor fitting franchisees also tend to have low retention rates. They're not renewing their contracts. And most importantly, at least to the franchisor and to Zorakle Profiles, is a poor fitting franchisee usually is also performing poorly. For you as a franchise broker, I know it's difficult to understand the way you would like to understand each franchise concept. Also, when you're dealing with so many prospective franchisees, it's difficult to intimately understand them. So, this is where the Zoracle Profile Spot On tool comes in. It's a data driven, scientific, unbiased way for you to facilitate a Z to ZOR fit, to more intimately know your prospective franchisee and know which concepts are going to be a good fit. It's also a way to create a common language between you and various franchise development folks within franchise concepts that allows you to communicate in such a way that they understand when you pass off that lead, how they should work with that lead. So here are the sciences that are involved in the spot on profile. Each of these sciences, as you can see, come from various sources. The values section of the spot on profile is the work of Stanford Research Institute and Dr. Claire Graves. The stages of growth work is Ellie Grenner's research, Neil Churchill's research, Carruthers Institute work. The cultural fit model that we borrow comes out of the University of Michigan. And the work style, which is actually a personality assessment, is William Marston's work, further research by Harvard Business School. And then the core competency model is the logic of Gallup research in their Strength Finder. Now, those are the five sciences that are in the broker tool. There are two additional sciences within the franchisor's tool. There are soft skills, what we call focus preference, Dr. Robert Nedford's work, and emotional and social intelligence, which is Dr. Daniel Goleman's work. So I want you to see it as kind of a big picture graphic that this is a meta-analysis approach. Each of these sciences individually are helpful to understanding your prospective franchisee. It's helpful to understand someone's work style or personality. It shows you how to communicate with them, how to avoid conflict, and those kinds of things. However, only understanding the personality will give you no insight into how well they're going to do in a business or what business they should go in. In fact, statistics show there's less than a 3% correlation between someone's personality and ultimately how well they're going to do in that business. Similarly, if you only understood their skills, that they had marketing skills or operational skills or management skills, much of which you can get directly from their resumes, if you only understood that, it doesn't tell us if they're going to be a cultural fit with that franchisor or if they fit within the stage of growth of that franchise organization. So the Zorakle tool uses all of this logic in a single report, and it gives you the information in such a way that you can now look at all of these pieces to better determine which of the concepts that you're representing are going to be a great fit for your franchise candidate. What is their personality? What are their values? What kind of culture do they need to be in? What stage of growth of an organization do they need to fit in? What are their skills? How can they use them within the various business? We call it the SpotOn profile. So let's look at the individual sciences again from a 30,000 feet in the air kind of view. The first section in the profile is the values section. This, of course, is a Stanford research model where we get in touch with the prospective franchisees, things that are most important to them, what they value, the drivers behind why they're even looking for a business. So you'll quickly see the top values of your prospective franchisee, who they are from a values perspective, some of their pain points, what they're not getting in their current scenario, their current job, their current business, all right within those first couple of sections within the SpotOn profile. So keep in mind, values create compatibility. When we share values with our business partner, with our spouse, with our franchisee, it builds this harmony and a place for us to make common decisions. But most importantly, it strengthens the brand recognition and the brand equity, and there is a strong financial correlation between a franchisee and a franchisor having similar values. We want our franchisees to perform. So the most important thing you want to do is make sure that the franchisee has similar values as the franchisor and that those things are in alignment. The next science is the stage of growth science. This is Neil Churchill's work. There are 5 predictable stages of growth. We report out to you which stage of growth your prospective franchisee is going to be the best fit. In this case, you can see this candidate fits in stage 3 and stage 5, a plug and play or a hybrid franchise. You're going to learn about each of these stages in those spot-on snippets later as you're going through the SpotOn basic training. You'll learn about the stages of growth and how we measure it and why this prospect fits within that particular stage of growth. So stage of growth is determined by the management style, the organizational structure, how formal the systems are for that franchisor, what their initiatives are, what their current strategy is, and of course, how involved the concept originator is. And so you can see just from this quick diagram that a franchise system goes through very predictable stages of growth. And along with those predictable stages of growth, they go through predictable challenges or crises, is what Neil Churchill called them, that would prevent them from moving on to that next stage of growth. So we want to make sure that our prospective franchisee fits in the stage of growth that that franchisor is in, and will fit into the next stage of growth where that franchisor is going, and that any of the challenges that franchisor is having, the franchisee can manage and not have any problems with. The next science is the cultural fit. This is the University of Michigan model, which is a quadrant model, like many pieces of sciences around psychographics, and it gives you insight into your prospective franchisee as to the kind of culture that he or she is going to be most comfortable in and feel like they belong and be most productive in. So culture, as you know, is in part values of an organization, but it's also the environment, the best practices, the strategies that that franchisor is using, and the things that the franchisor is rewarding so they can inspire not just their employees, but their franchisees to perform optimally. I don't know about you, but I've had experiences where I've been a bad cultural fit in companies. It wasn't them, wasn't me. We just weren't a good fit. So I couldn't perform the way that I wanted, and I never felt fully comfortable. So we want our franchisees to be a cultural fit within a franchise system. The next science is the work style. This is a true personality assessment. If you're familiar with the DISC or the predictive index or the Myers-Briggs or some other tools, this will be probably the most familiar component of the profile that you'll look at. So the work style lets you know a little bit about the pace and the priority of your prospective franchisee, how they operate under stress, what kind of work environment do they need? Do they need it structured? Do they need it more personal? Do they want it busy? Do they want it more relaxed? It'll give you some information about that. And this is particularly important because ultimately the work style of the business owner will set the pace of that business and the priorities and the direction for their employees as well as their partners and any kind of vendor relationships and client relationships they have. So this will help them uh, be good at directing the business, delegating, motivating people. So it's an important component of the overall fit of a prospective franchisee within a franchise concept. The next piece of science is a competency science. And as I mentioned earlier, we use the logic out of the Strength Finder, the Gallup research, in large part because we have prospective franchisees that are coming to the table who have had these wonderfully successful careers as VP of marketing or VP of information technology, and now they want to run a business. So they have wonderful competencies as marketers or technical people, but it doesn't tell us, can they sell? Can they manage people? How are they operationally? So by using the Strength Finder logic, we look at their strengths and then we correlate those strengths that says he or she may have never sold, but they have the strengths necessary, the skills necessary that they could sell given the right environment and the right business. So the competency delineates 8 core competencies that every franchise, every business requires. Obviously, depending on the business, you might need one competency more than another competency. You might need more management skills in one business and more sales skills in another business. And so this will tell you exactly what your prospective franchisee uh, in terms of their skills are. Keep in mind, competencies is about complementing the value package and the strategic plans of the franchisor. So you want the franchisee to be strong in terms of their competencies in areas that the franchisor is weak, and vice versa. You want the franchisor to have the skills or the systems or the processes to complement what the franchisee is. So if the franchisee is a terrible marketer, but they're a great manager of people and great operationally, they're going to look for a franchisor that has great marketing, so they can then take care of those customers on the back end. So next couple of components of the profile include sales orientation and business path. Every business requires a certain amount of sales. We simply tell you in the profile what kind of sales your prospect can do, and also what kind of business path will lead them more effortlessly to the kind of success that they would like. There are some folks that are going to have greatest success by keeping their day job, right? And maybe investing in a franchise, or maybe they don't belong in franchising at all. They're corporate ladder climbers, and that's the perfect place for them. Others are kind of wild and crazy entrepreneurs, and we have to be a little bit cautious what franchise we put them in, because not all franchise systems will allow that kind of innovation and entrepreneurialism. They may feel uncomfortable. So this just gives you some information about, is this a single unit operator? Is this a multi-unit operator? Maybe they can buy a territory and then sell part of the region off to other franchisees. So these are important factors, especially when you're talking about sales. There are different types of sales. And when we're in our natural state of selling, we come across as more authentic and trustworthy. Some of us are great at educating, advising, consulting, those kinds of sales that solve complex problems and are based on a lot of credibility and a lot of authority. Others of us are better salespeople when it's a relational sale. So this just simply lets you know on the profile which kind of sales your prospect is able to do. The next couple of components lets you know, based on how your prospective franchisee is profiling, what kind of needs and wants he or she might have. So in this case, you can see that this particular prospect has certain needs and wants. For example, this candidate will be more successful if she works with highly skilled employees or partners. So she's not going to be good in a business that's working with first-time employees, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds coming out of university at their first job. She's going to do better financially if she works with a few skilled employees, maybe even partners. So it quickly tells you, here are some needs, here's some wants that this candidate has. And then, of course, you're going to go look for businesses that echo those needs and wants. And then the last section to kind of wrap up the 30,000-foot overview of these particular sciences is the meta programs. The meta programs are mental filters that a candidate uses to make decisions. So there are 5 meta programs. We report them out to you. Once you've dug in and you've learned each of these meta programs, you're going to find you know exactly how your candidate needs to be communicated with, how data needs to be given to them, what you need to say to move them through their due diligence process and come up with a conclusion. And we're hoping that conclusion is they buy a business, right? So let's wrap it up. What makes someone a good fit? When a prospective franchisee shares the values of a franchisor, that's going to lead towards fit. A franchisee that fits in the stage of growth of a franchisor, a franchisee that fits within the culture, and a franchisee that will comply and appreciate and leverage the franchisor systems, and of course a franchisee that complements that franchisor strategic plans is going to be a good fit. So the more you know about their values, what stage of growth, what culture, what their competencies are, the better you're going to be at aligning them with businesses that are going to have them feel great in that business and also have the kind of success that they deserve and you want for them. So the Zorakle model is basically all about this Z to Zor fit. We know when we have a good fit, someone's compatible, they're going to validate better, they're going to retain better, there's going to be less cost to support and train them, and they're going to be more happy, they're going to be satisfied and content. And of course, from a performance perspective, they're going to ramp up better if they're a good fit. There's going to be less litigation. They're going to have stronger compliance. They're going to embrace those systems. And bottom line, they're going to perform better. So there you have it. If you got 10 minutes, you can learn something. We have broken down each of these sections, these sciences, in 10-minute learning sections. So when you have an extra 10 minutes, listen to a little bit about the values and a little bit about the stages of growth and a little bit about the culture. And soon you will have mastered the spot on profile and will be masterfully making fits between your prospective franchisee and your various franchise concepts that you are representing. So I look forward to seeing you at further trainings. For now, get out there and learn something.